The following content is sponsored and does not necessarily reflect the views of WATD Radio. Now, Paul Ponders on 95.9 WATD. Be a part of the show. Call or text 781-837-4900. Now, here's your host, Paul Solano.
Greetings, everyone. Thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD. My name is Paul Solano of the PS&L Marketing Group, and as you probably already know, I wear another hat as General Manager of Pearl Street Station Restaurant in Malden. Pearl Street Station was recently featured on America's Best Restaurants, an independent marketing firm from Kentucky. And one reason for this huge honor is because of our chef, Felipe Fitzpatrick, and his culinary team. So Chef Felipe is a loyal listener through the Odyssey app. Hello, Chef Felipe. I know we have lots of stuff going on at Pearl Street Station today, and I want to thank you and your staff, your team back there, Chef Joaquin and Chef Marco and Chef Mohammed for doing a great job. Now, I usually say, it's a tremendous honor to be on the spot of the former Boiling Point, but we are very fortunate to have my executive consultant and producer in studio, Arthur Boyle. How are you?
Very good.
Nice to see you.
I'm actually very pleased that the gentleman who did the traffic report, Paul Beazer, did such a great job. I mean, he's good.
Thanks. That means so much to me.
Absolutely. Paul behind the glass, Paul the intern from Massasoit College. How are you, Paul?
I'm wonderful. You can't beat an internship like this, am I right?
You're absolutely.
Well, it could be catered by the good folks at Pearl Street Restaurant. That'd make it a little better.
Well, I may have to bring some of our sweet and spicy wings, or maybe our buffalo wings, which leads me to introduce in the studio with us is Selectman John Brown from Pembroke. John, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Great to have you here. And really, it is an honor to be here in this slot. And it's really been a lot of fun. Arthur, I cannot believe that this is show number 19.
Wow.
Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Absolutely.
And I invited John in because I thought that people should know we have somebody who's like you, that they're involved in everything. He's involved in the Delman's Club, the Council on Aging. What do you not belong to, John?
That's a good question.
You're an active...
Yeah, I am. I've been active in the community since I came here in 2013, and then ran for selectman in 15. You were graciously enough to appoint me to advisory after that in 15. So I just kind of been going along, trying to help out as much as I can.
Yeah, it's got its own reward in many ways, but you see some things go on, and I would point to the community center and the school system, which is 24 years old now, or thereabout, and it's just nice to be around it, and you do a good job of keeping yourself around it.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you, Arthur.
What's that adage? If you want a job done, you ask a busy person.
That's what they say. But John jumped right in. You're not in Pembroke. You're not a native until you've been there 50 years. So John stepped in 10 years ago, and it's been a good mix for the town and for John, and we as citizens now are not in the elective, unless you count the constable. It's a nice thing to do. It's a nice place to be involved, but there comes a time too where, after almost 19 years, I had said that must be somebody else's turn now.
I hear you. Well, John, at this point of the program, we have a great call-in segment, and it's the Pod Pro Entertainment Techie Toolbox segment with Techie Talonzo Amos, who actually produces my podcast, and Paul Ponders, and Miss Shelley Wolf, global media firm owner of Toolbox Entertainment, and a past Paul Ponders guest, episode number 35. So, Shelley, are you on the line?
I am here, yes. Good morning.
Welcome, my friend. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
That's good. Are you in Philadelphia today?
I am in Philadelphia. I think it's become winter here this weekend.
Same way up here. Up here in Boston, in the Marshfield area, definitely. And Arthur is with us, and John Brown, Selectman John Brown from Pembroke.
Fantastic. Nice to hear from you guys.
Absolutely.
I'm learning a little bit about Pembroke. I've never been there, so I can't consider myself even a resident if it takes 50 years. So.
I hear you. And Shelley, I was able to, in fact, make a couple of posts on my blog this week on your very techie tips, very helpful techie tips and all. And I guess you have more for us this week.
Yeah, today we're going to focus a little bit about managing our phones from distractions to stay present. I don't know about you guys, but, have you ever looked at your phone, up from your phone, and realized that you've missed something so important? Someone's smile, a moment of silence, a child's story, a friend's story. We just live in this world of constant tugs at our attention, especially with this little device in our pockets. So today I wanted to really talk about being truly present and how we stop letting phones steal those really important matters and moments in our lives. Again, they're incredible tools. We rely on them for everything: calendars, alarms, reminders, our shopping lists, cameras. But let's be honest, sometimes they also run our lives instead of serving us. So whether you're out with friends, spending time with family, or enjoying a quiet moment, that buzz ding can instantly pull you out of that present moment. And before you know it, 20 minutes later, I don't know about you, but you've gone down that little rabbit hole and you find yourself deep in an email or some sort of news feed or just randomly scrolling. So let's talk about just what it takes to ditch that phone for a moment and use it with intention. The concept of, I like to think of it as parent your phone, right? Think of it as a toddler. It craves your attention and it interrupts us at the most important times. And yet we need to set boundaries so it doesn't run the show. So at this time, let's parent our phone before it parents us. This means putting limits in place, creating structures, and making sure that we're in control, not those constant notifications that just bing, bing, bing and create us having mindless habits. So I'm going to give 5 thoughts and ideas of how we do that. So set down downtime. Most of our phones have a do not disturb or a focus mode on them. Use it during meal times, bedtime, family time, a walk in the park. This gives our mind a break. Like when we're outside and we're just wandering in nature, we should really just focus on that. Move away from distracting apps that, off the home screen. So they're out of sight, they're out of mind. You can move from social media or a news app into a folder so that they're not the first thing that you see, and that they are not also the first thing that jump out as a habit. Turn off those non-essential notifications. Every ding doesn't need your attention. Go into your settings, shut off those alerts from those apps, and you don't need those updates. And keep text or calls silent and silence the rest of them, or put them on a vibrate. I don't know about you, but I know a couple weeks ago I was sitting here and I must have messed up something on my phone because all of a sudden it was bing, bing, bing every time I turned around, and I thought I was going to go and spiral out because it was just too much. But create those phone zones, free zones. Pick up a few places or times where your phone just stays out of reach. Don't bring it to the dining room table. Don't bring it to your bedroom. Don't bring it to movie night. Just be present with the people and not what we call pixels. Use your screen time and digital well-being tools we've talked about, which I'm sure will be on your blog as well, but track your usage. Most people are surprised how much time they actually spend on their phones, and use this data to help set your own personal health goals. These benefit us from being in the present. When you set boundaries on your phone, you are actually making space for connection, peace, and clarity. You will hear your partner better. You'll notice the beautiful around you. Always go back to a time when I was in Kenya, and we were driving out in nature, and there's all this beautiful wildlife around us, and everyone's just like phones galore. And it was just like, but yet when you put it down and you actually look at the animals, it was like such a different type of connection. So again, just being in that moment. The memories are memories to be in our minds, not on our phones. And think more clearly. When you can think more clearly, you're also going to sleep more soundly. So present yourself a gift and not just, be attached to that phone. The more you practice it, the more powerful it becomes. So again, quick takeaways: set phone quiet times, silence non-essential notifications, move from distracting apps off your home screen, make phone-free zones in your home, and use screen time reports to help build better habits. So again, I take this to challenge you this week to choose 1 hour a day to unplug intentionally, whether you're out for a walk, going to dinner, having your first cup of coffee. Just be present, and you might be surprised how much you notice that what you actually are doing when your phone's put away. So again, remember, you own the phone. It doesn't own you. So that is my techie tip for you to stay grounded, stay mindful, and don't miss moments that matter the most.
Can I interrupt for a minute? Because Shelley is talking like she's sitting in the office with us. John Brown has got his cell phone that's as big as a television set. And we've got Paul, who's, while you're talking, he's doing other things, and it's just, it's crazy.
But I am multitasking. I really am, and listening intently.
But Shelley, it's like you were here.
It's become so accustomed to our lives, right?
It really, really has. But Shelley, how do our listeners in Paul Ponders land contact you?
Yes, if anyone's interested, they can reach out to us at info@podproentertainment.com.
That's fabulous. And again, another great segment and very helpful techie tips. And it sort of parallels the next episode of Paul Ponders that I am dropping actually a day early because it ties into the Boston Marathon. And the name of the segment is Focus. And it's geared towards the Boston Marathon runners. And FOCUS, F-O-C-U-S, actually stands for Fixating on Certain Ultimate Sites. So I do invite our listeners, and especially if you're a marathon runner and you're running for a charity, to go to paulponders.com and just check out that episode, or go to Spotify or YouTube or iHeartMedia and listen to this. It's a quick 5-minute, 24-second segment, but it is about focusing in on the task at hand. And I think I will take advantage of a couple of your very helpful tips and not be on my phone as much in the studio and even at home and at work. How does that sound, Shelley?
I think that sounds great. We all, again, it's a very easy thing to get caught up in, but it's also a very easy thing to just put aside and say, I got to take a moment. Like I actually have a rule, like I really try not to pick up my phone even in the first 30 minutes of waking up every morning, and it's really helped. So that's
fabulous. Yeah. Well, Shelley Wolf, I thank you again for calling in. Another great segment, and we'll be posting more of your helpful tips over the past 8, 9, 10 weeks or so on the PSNL Marketing Group blog. So until we meet again, my friend, you have a great day.
Thank you, guys. And you guys have a wonderful show. I look forward to listening to the rest of it.
#indeed.
All right.
Very good. Well, Arthur, as you always say, it's not time to make the donuts, but I think this time we may have a honey dip donut out in the kitchen for us. So, but we still need to pay some bills, right?
We do, and after my little scare a couple of weeks ago, I'm eating fewer donuts.
Alrighty, we'll maybe have a munchkin. All right.
That'll be all right. We'll take one munchkin at a time.
There you go. I love it. Well, let's hear from our sponsors.
At
Attention WATD listeners, don't leave any money on the table. Call Performance Appraisal LLC and appraiser Arthur Boyle and Associates. Arthur may be reached at 781-293-6900 or Boyle6900 at AOL.com. Since 1994, Performance has developed many niche services ranging from appraising single-family homes to providing expert witness testimony. Again, call our own Arthur Boyle at 781-293-6900. South Street Diner, located at 178 Nealon Street, Boston, is Boston's only all-night dining destination, open 7 nights a week for late-night eats. Yep, that's 24/7 in my book. Owner Saul Seidel has grown this former iconic Blue Diner to be the place to go for keeping the party going or filling your stomachs before you head home to the South Shore or the Cape and the Islands and listen to WATD along the way home. Ask Saul about his grandmother's banana bread recipe, the Boston cream pancakes, umpteen eggs Benny offerings, and tell him that Paul Ponders sent you.
Have you tried Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that's steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857. Have you heard about Pembroke Collision? Price and quality don't often collide under the same roof. Not so at Pembroke Collision at 192 Manakesett Street in Pembroke. Pembroke Collision will work with you and your insurance company to get you back on the road in a safe and satisfactory vehicle. Put your trust in Ben Bastianelli and his crew at Pembroke Collision. Just call 781-293-4040 or find them on Facebook. Pembroke Collision, happy to work for you.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
We are back, and thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD. The call-in number is 781-837-4900, and you could also find us on the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. And again, if you're a nonprofit out there, I want you to text me or email me at paul@paulponders.com and let me know what's going on. And I will give a shout out to the Malden Chamber of Commerce. They're having a Pints on Pleasant Brewfest in conjunction with Faces Brewery and Idle Hands Brewery. Both breweries are in Malden, and they're collaborating with the Malden Chamber of Commerce, and that's coming up on 2 Saturdays from now, April 26th, and that's from 1 to 4 p.m. It should be a great day. I'll be attending after the Paul Ponders show, but we have lots of food vendors, and Pearl Street Station Restaurant is one of them. And this year we're actually going to have rolling cones, a mobile ice cream truck appearing, and the Rolling Cones is owned by Nicole Wall, who is actually a longtime family friend, and Nicole's just done a great job going to many festivals. And Nicole is the daughter of Anne-Marie McKay, Anne-Marie Angelo.
Oh, yeah.
And stepdaughter of Charlie McKay, Malden Police. And it's one of those things that Nicole is doing a fabulous job, and she's going to be out there. But she just happened to be in the restaurant last night. We had a meeting earlier in the day with the Chamber of Commerce, the Zoom, and she was there, and I was prepping for today's show, so I was going to talk about the Red Sox season, stuff for us to talk about, and I was going to reference one of the Paul Ponders podcasts, which is Soxational, which is a poem that Charlie McKay Nicole's stepdad, wrote back in 2004. And we actually feature that at baseball shows, and we raise some money for different charities. And it was one of those things that here I am writing down Soxational, went out, checking the dining room floor. We had a very busy night, and there was Nicole and two of her triplets. And it was just so weird that, I had just thought of her. I thought of her family, and there she was, and I had found out that she was going to be there. So shout out to Nicole and Rolling Cones and all. But have you had a chance to look at Soxational, Charlie McKay's really popular poem?
I am not, but I will do that this afternoon as part of my assignment of homework.
Absolutely, and you have to really just check it out, the Paul Ponders episode. Great episode. So, John Brown, are you a converted Red Sox fan, or are you a Phillies fan?
No, actually, I am a dreaded Yankee fan.
Ooh.
I've been a Yankee fan since the early 80s when they were really bad. And but the whole thing is funny is I married a woman, a redhead from Dorchester, who used to work there as a kid at Fenway. And we made it through the 2004 World Series, and we still got married. So it's pretty good.
I love it.
I'll give you a little trivia on the 2004 Red Sox. There was a kid from Malden who was presented with a World Series ring, and that was the strength and conditioning coach, my brother Mike.
Absolutely, brother Michael Boyle of Mike Boyle Strength and Conditioning. That's right. And when you think back to quite a few episodes that aired on all sorts of documentaries and all, quite a few of those players made it a point to really thank Michael Boyle for getting them through the season and giving them the endurance to play all those extra inning games and really just make an impact and break the curse, reverse the curse.
Yeah, he's special.
Yeah, he does a great job. And also, too, Michael has a few rings, national championship rings from BU. And BU's playing in the finals tonight in the Frozen Four.
And his daughter got a trip to the Frozen Four several years ago.
That's right.
And
Michaela,
she played for Clarkson, and they won the U.S. title, whatever it's called.
The NCAA championship. Right. Yeah. That's great. That's really awesome.
Yeah, somebody else got all the athletic prowess in our family because it wasn't me.
Well, you had a decent jump shot in basketball.
I said if there was a three-point line still from back in the 70s, I'd still be playing.
There you go. But, of course, your dad was just a legendary basketball coach and coached quite a few Tech Tourney teams way back when, BITD in the 60s into the early 70s and all. And your dad, Arthur Boyle, was in the Boston University Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he was a good athlete as well. As I said, you can point to almost everybody in the family except me.
I love it. Now, John, you grew up off episode. We were talking about where you grew up, and you grew up in Jersey?
Yeah, Cape May, New Jersey.
Nice.
So basically, most southern part. It was fun. It's the shore. I love the beach itself. So my wife wanted to move up here in 2013 to be closer to her mom and her brother. They were living in Marshfield at the time, and I was like, okay, well, she goes, I'll try to get you close to a beach. I said, that's great. But I've definitely thrived up here as being not just an elected official, but just as the people that are up here on the South Shore. It's just been phenomenal. So I feel at home. I do.
That's great. That's great. Now, I see we have a call-in on the line. It looks like we have Gordon Michaels. Gordon.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you. Thanks for the call-in. Appreciate it. Thank you. How are plans shaping up for a show you're doing in the very near future?
On April 24th. It is feeling good at last. Tickets are selling really, really well. We probably have 12 tickets left before sellout at a little cabaret room in Quincy at the Fox and Hound.
Well, that's great. Now, who's appearing at the show?
So it'll be myself as the host and the producer, and then it's Lori Dow, one of Boston's local favorites, and Valerie Stevens, an actor, renowned storyteller from Massachusetts, and vocalist. And Valerie will be doing the Nina Simone track, and Lori Dow will be singing the music of Etta James.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a great show. And this is at the Fox and Hound. That's is that Steve Sweeney's venue?
Yeah, Steve Sweeney has, we share that room. He does the comedy den in there, and I do the cabaret.
Oh, okay, very good.
And
very
this
good.
is a 3-course dinner and show.
Wow. Well, I haven't spoken to you in a while and all, but I know that you go and produce all sorts of dinner shows, and you have a very accomplished career in your own right in music.
Well, thank you. Yes, I always say, the things I've done and my degree and experience and a dime might get me some Dunkin' Donuts coffee, but it's impressive to other people.
That's
the gig
great.
is always to keep the hustle going and constantly look for new work,
I hear you. Well, I'm always admiring any singers out there, anyone with a musical talent, because the only note that I could carry is the one to the principal's office. Wow.
Well, I have
Comedy
friends
wasn't your thing, apparently.
I'm waiting for a rim shot. Waiting for intern. Boom. Okay, there we go. Intern Paul behind the glass has to come up with a rim shot on one of those. But
I say to some of my friends who like to sing in the car when I'm with them, I'm like, look, you can't carry a note across the street in a paper bag. Please stop singing.
I hear you. Well, I think, one of these tributes to Etta James is finally happening, so we'll say at last, right?
Yep.
All righty.
That's why the title is Feeling Good at Last. At last from Etta James, Feeling Good from Nina Simone.
Oh, I love it. And again, it's on what day?
April 24th. It's a Thursday evening. Doors open at 6. Dinner served from 6:30 to 7:30, and the show starts at 7:45.
Awesome. Well, we'll try to get out of Pearl Street Station Restaurant that night and make an appearance, drive down to Quincy, may call my daughter and daughter-in-law and see what they're doing, and maybe they'll be joining me, but I'll be in touch with you on that one.
Sounds like a plan.
Gordon, thanks for calling in. Really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you, and thank you for all you
there's
do
the rim
for
shot. Very good. All right. There we go. That's it.
Well, it's a day late and a dollar short.
What a way to go out, though, huh?
Story of my life
go
there.
out.
Unbelievable. Well, Gordon, I thank you for the call in, and you make it a great rest of the day.
Thank you. You do the same.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Bye now. Thank you. Well, at this point, we might as well hear from our sponsors once again. There we go. Attention WATD listeners, don't leave any money on the table. Call Performance Appraisal LLC and appraiser Arthur Boyle and Associates. Arthur may be reached at 781-293-6900 or Boyle6900 at AOL.com. Since 1994, Performance has developed many niche services ranging from appraising single-family homes to providing expert witness testimony. Again, call our own Arthur Boyle at 781-293-6900.
Have you tried Brianville Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that's steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Briantville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Briantville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Briantville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857. Have you heard about Pembroke Collision? Price and quality don't often collide under the same roof. Not so at Pembroke Collision at 192 Manakesett Street in Pembroke. Pembroke Collision will work with you and your insurance company to get you back on the road in a safe and satisfactory vehicle. Put your trust in Ben Bastianelli and his crew at Pembroke Collision. Just call 781-293-4040 or find them on Facebook. Pembroke Collision, happy to work for you.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
We are back, and thank you for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD. And again, the call-in number is 781-837-4900. And you could also find us at paulponders.com. We have subscription links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as finding past Paul Ponders on WATD shows. And I do not go back further in the glass, but I think Tom Gorman is back way too. Hey, Tom, how are you? Tom does a great job, just delivering the news, and it's really great to listen to him on the way down from the Malden Medford area. So, John, you have a lot of things going on in Pembroke, and you're a current selectman, as we heard earlier, but you are really engaged in the Pembroke community. So let us know, tell us about the community center and all the things that are going on over there.
Well, it's great. Ever since basically we opened up last May, our numbers have gone through the roof. And ever since probably about January, especially for our senior services, since I'm the liaison for the seniors in Pembroke, those programs and the numbers have gone up 50% within just a little bit of a time frame from the new year, and it's only April right now. And it's only going to be willing to basically move up from there. And speaking of one thing for senior services, since I can help out the wonderful director, Diane Pico, they are actually having a History of the Red Sox next Wednesday, April 16th at 1 p.m. At the Community Center. And if anyone wants to enjoy this wonderful programming, you can call 781-294-8220 to sign up. But it should be a great time because the community center is so large and we have rooms that can be divided or enhanced even more. This should be a good time. There should be a lot of people. Just like their St. Patrick's Day lunch. There was over 60 people there, and it was just a fly-by-night kind of like, okay, we're going to do this. This is great. So I appreciate the new folks that have come in to help out the community center. Lance Kennedy, who is the director of basic facilities and also recreation director. Sure. And then Diane Pico, who is our new senior services director under the community center. They're changing it from Council of Aging to senior services because we're in one building now.
That's great. So. I was trying to write down the number real quick. The number to call Diane, 781-294.
8220.
Operators are standing by. Mass card these are accepted. No, it's free.
It's free for the community, no problem. As long as you basically call and sign up, it's great because these are great. And then folks that come outside of the district are paying a little bit of a fee to use our facility, so it's helping out with maintenance cost, wear and tear on the community center itself. So it's a wonderful place to go.
Great, that's great. And about how long will this program be?
It's going to be just for this next Wednesday for about an hour.
About an hour?
Yeah.
So it's quick.
And they're inviting Yankee fans as well.
I've seen actually a lot up here, which is shocking.
Oh, boy.
They put them on their license plate. That was kind of weird for me.
Really?
Yeah. But wow. We have such a great time here of trying to do certain things. Like I said, when we talked earlier, why I got involved. I got involved because there was certain things that my level of being a former congressional staffer and working within D.C., what can I do to help out here to use my knowledge to move things forward? You know, different ways of thinking. Same thing with the new public safety buildings that we're having. You know, I'm the chair of that committee, within the working group. And right now I said we're on time and under budget.
Right.
And we were going to be taking bids soon enough by the end of this month. And so that makes me happy where we're going to spend all this money, but it's for the greater good of services that we definitely need to enhance. But secondly, buildings that need to go away because, unfortunately, throughout the years, I'm 50 years old now, our buildings are about the same, and the wear and tear on them is really bad.
Wow.
Yeah, but they do a great job. Phenomenal. Our fire and police are top-notch.
Wow. Very good. I see we have a caller on the line, and looks like we have Bob from Woburn, Bob Hilberg. Welcome.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
I am doing well, thanks. How are you today?
Good. I'm just getting out of a ceremony in Woburn where we just commemorated the 250th Battle Road in Woburn with Ed Markey was here, and it's cold and rainy, but we got a nice memorial here that we celebrated the beginning of the Revolutionary War here for the last couple hours. So,
that's
cool
great.
Stuff.
Were you in uniform?
Yeah. I was. I'm Captain Isaac Hall of the Medford Militiamen.
I love it. When I had seen you last week, you looked mighty dapper in your revolutionary uniform. You really did.
Absolutely, and on April 21st, I'll be Captain Isaac Hall meeting Paul Revere when he gets off his horse at Medford Square, right there on High Street, about noontime. So that'll be a kind of a fun event too in Medford.
That's great. When do you find the time to do all these things when you're not executive director of Gotham Whale or the Patriots historian? You just make the time, I guess, to do all these wonderful things.
It's all about giving back to the community, and you find the time. If it's a priority, you make the time. You block it in, you schedule it in, you get it done. That's what it's all about being Gotham, all about being great and awesome and grateful of that I can do this and bring this to the world of, being in celebrating the history of everything that we do and bringing some smiles and some joy to people's lives.
That's great. That's great. And across the table for me, I'm not sure how much of the program you heard. I have Selectman John Brown from Pembroke here, along with Arthur Boyle. And John is a South Jersey native, and also you being a Patriots historian. How many players through the years, when you wrote that wonderful book that's in the Patriots Hall of Fame, how many came from the New Jersey area, from the Cape May area?
A lot, actually. I mean, there's a lot of them came from New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. I know, the key person that I remember is Andre Tippett. He came from Newark, New Jersey, and he
saw him inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got him in his 15th and final year of eligibility, so that was a pretty cool moment that some of the people on our team put the stats to get him in. But he remembered, when he was young, he could have gone one way or another way, and he joined, learned how to do karate and martial arts instead of being in a gang, and that propelled him to have discipline and confidence. And here we are, many years later, 2008, he got inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So when you're a young kid, you got to make good choices.
Absolutely, and I wish you were in the studio with us, just seeing the beaming look on John's face when you mentioned Andre Tippett. So, John, maybe if you want to share an experience with Bob Hilberg.
Well, to say that, so it was the Hall of Fame that year. I'm a Washington fan, so I'm kind of all over the map sports-wise sometimes. And I was going to go see Art Monk and Darryl Green get into the Hall of Fame.
I was there.
Yeah, my wife.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, my wife found out basically Tippett was going in. She goes, "Oh, I'm going." I was like, "No problem." So we went with our little guy, which he was probably about 7-8 months old. And he was there. He got to meet the Hogettes, but seeing Tippett and all those folks get into the Hall of Fame. I met Gale Sayers that weekend.
I could meet Gale Sayers, too. He would have to be just standing waiting for his ride. And can I sit there and talk to you until your ride shows up? He couldn't have been nicer.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at one of his helmets, and I go, "You're Gale Sayers." He goes, "Yes." I'm like going, "Okay, this is one nicest guy I ever met for that." Jim Kelly that weekend. There was a lot of great stuff going on, but it was fun to see my wife's reaction when Tippett went in, because since she's been a Patriots fan since she's been 3. So
absolutely, I met the whole family, and then there's a party, and there was another party. There was another party. I stayed till 2:00 in the morning. I was like the last person to leave, and Michael Irvin was there with his sunglasses at 2:00 in the morning, and John Elway come over and said hi, and I was like, so I had to call someone. So my son-in-law lives in California, and it's 11 o'clock his time, and I said, "Hey, how's it going, Ron?" He says, "What's up?" And he says, "I'm standing next to John Elway." "Hey, John. Hey, how you doing?" I said, "That was John Elway." And I had to tell someone. It was pretty cool. That was a fun night.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is awesome. And we might as well give a shout out for your book about the Patriots, because it really is a very in-depth book that took you quite a while to put together, but it's so accurate and so spot on. What's the name of your book again, Bob?
Yeah, so it's called Total Patriots. Total Serial, Total Patriots. It's the 800-page book on the complete history of every player in every game since 1960 to 2009. So it kind of came out in the 50th anniversary of the AFL and the NFL merging, in 1970. But it was pretty cool. I've met hundreds of players, and Andre Tippett and I were on the radio a couple of times with Mikey Adams and EEI and all that, tried to get his publicity. And pretty special moment when you get up there. And Darryl Green and Art Monk, I mean, the Washington Redskins fans, they know how to show up and support their team. I remember there was a ton of Redskins fans there and Vikings fans. Not so many Patriots fans, which I was surprised, but we've got a few more in since then. So Tyler and Richard Seymour in the last couple of years.
That's great. Well, Bob, I want to thank you for calling in. It's always great to have you call in and have our other calls in, Paul Pondersland call in. And I will catch up with you real soon, my friend. And shout out to Millie. She sent along that Jewish penicillin the other night. You dropped that off at the restaurant, and I actually had it last night, so I was going to text you about how delicious it was, and my voice is stronger, and I was prepared for today because of Millie's delicious chicken soup.
Yeah, homemade. Everything was from scratch. So
and
you put a lot of love into it.
Exactly. The TLC was the main ingredient, and that's
exactly right.
That's what the world needs. So, Bob, I thank you for calling in, and we'll catch up with you soon, my friend.
All right. Thanks very much, guys. Great show.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Bob.
Yep.
So, John, thank you. John, as we start to wind down, Arthur, as we start to wind down, we're going to have you back, John, because there's just so much for you, that you are involved in, and you are so interesting. It's really been a pleasure meeting you. And also, do you want to give a shout out to that event coming up again, and to Diane and her group?
Sure.
Anything else?
Yeah, our senior services in Pembroke is phenomenal. And just to let you know, once again, at the Community Center on April 16th at 1 p.m., History of the Red Sox. If you want to join us, 781-294-8220. Call them up and hopefully get on in.
Absolutely, and again, check out Paul Ponders' The Soxational episode. I believe it was like the third or fourth I did by author or poet Charlie McKay, and check that out. And Arthur, do you have anything else?
Well, just that it's one of my favorite times of the day. That's when we turn it over to Ron Dwyer, the American. What is he?
The Grand Poobah.
He's a Grand Poobah, right?
Of oldies rock and roll, and he really is a true leader of the pack. So I want to thank you. Thank you, Arthur. Thank you, John. And listeners can go to paulponders.com to find any subscription links. And again, thanks to Paul behind the glass, intern Paul filling in for Tim McKenney, who is on a well-deserved sabbatical today, and our advertisers. But really, thank you, listeners in WATD world and beyond. Keep Paul pondering. #Indeed.